Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to BlackOut Gaming TV as we bring you the last match of the Badwater week, and it is a crucial one when it comes to who is going to be getting into the playoffs for the end of Season 10 Highlander. Tonight's match is between the Bureau and WASP. I'm CeeJaey, and with me tonight is Sigafoo and John. Sigafoo, how are things going, my man?
I am doing pretty wonderful myself. Excited to see some Badwater. It's one of my favorite maps to be played in Highlander, and can have some really explosive gameplay when it comes to this map in Highlander, just because you can have kind of quick pushes, or it can be a little bit slower of a grind fest. So I'm looking forward to this tonight. But what are the playoff I can't even speak today. Wow, I am so good, CeeJaey.
Implications, I think the word you're looking for is there. The playoff implications. Well, so far we've had obviously 3 games this week played. We saw Fair Enough win. We saw Strong Opinions beat Highlander. Those 3 teams stay in the first, second, and third positions, and it's looking pretty likely that those teams will reach the playoffs. I think it's going to take something quite extraordinary, a fall apart from one of them to miss out. But that 4th spot is very much open, and there's a whole host of teams. At the moment, it's Premtech in the 4th position. Had a bit of a collapse at the start of the season, but have started to pick up some points, start to pick up some wins. And just behind them are the Bureau and WASP. Now, Bureau are on, I believe, 12 points at the moment, and WASP are on 9. And they've had some decent results between them. WASP picked up points against Fair Enough last week. They're the first team to do that. They've managed to beat Premtech, while the Bureau have picked up points from Highlander, and they've also beaten Premtech. So, they're winning on the head-to-heads against the teams around them. But, earlier on in the week, we saw Premtech versus Failure, and it was kind of like a, I don't know, in football we call it a 6-pointer, because, you get 3 points for a win. And so, if you win, you essentially kind of had a 6-point swing. I suppose in ETF2L it'd be a 12-pointer. And we saw Failure kind of essentially lose their chance at playoffs by losing to Premtech. And I think something similar will happen here. Like, whichever team wins this, if they take it at 6-0, they could go in, big step towards the playoffs, and the other team is gonna really struggle. Sigafoo, are you there? I don't think Sigafoo's here, so I'm going to keep talking, and I'll wait for Sigafoo to rejoin me. So we have got these 2 teams here, the Bureau and WASP. The Bureau last season, they won the high division of Highlander. They beat TC Ambition in the final. That guaranteed a permanent spot for them in Premiership. And they've been doing okay so far this season. They've lost against Fair Enough, but they did pick up points against Premtech. They picked up points against Highlander, and they beat TC Ambition. So they're looking okay for themselves. They're in about mid-table. WASP are the same at the moment. They've picked up some decent victories. They picked up points against, I was going to say Nunya. They're now known as Failure Esports. And they've also beaten Premtech. And they've done pretty well for themselves. A lot of people tipped these 2 as relegation candidates at the start of the season. I said this was going to be the Russian or the CIS super team, Eastern European super team, that we've all been waiting for, as Unlimited, Catman and Fuzz joined from Unpoppable. They joined WASP. And we've seen some good results for them. Like I said, this should be a close game. It should be a close game. Sigafoo has now left the Mumble, so this is a solo cast until Sigafoo gets back. So I'm just going to run over the rosters. On the blue team, so we're going to have attacking first will be the Bureau. On Scout is Zaphus. Soldier is Justice. On Pyro is Yahoo. Demoman is Cooley. On Heavy, we do actually have Lennox, who is subbing in for Simba tonight. On Engineer is Matex. Leader is Chronos, playing Medic. Sniper is Bess, and on Spy is 1PT, aka E2 Jack. He is playing instead of McNando, who is away, I believe, at the moment. And defending in the red, we've got WASP. Playing Scout for them is Mr. Epic, on loan from Highlander. This is actually his 3rd time merking for them. And as per the new merc rule, that would be his last time playing. Popcorp moves over from Scout onto Soldier, which is a class he's played a lot in the past. Detoed is on Pyro, Unlimited on Demoman, Catman Heavy, Ina on Engineer, Clefsas on Medic, Fuzz on Sniper, and Costo on Spy, which is pretty much full rosters for both teams, other than a sub here or there. So we do see players come out of the Lennox taking a hell of a lot of damage straight away. That's going to slow down the suicides a little bit. But yeah, we'll be seeing the Bureau attacking first, trying to set a time, and WASP defending it. They'll try to beat that time. We look at 1PT, he's gone really far back, but Fuzz gets the opening kill there, and it is actually crits. I totally missed that. Chronos using these crits, but all these crit rollers coming out, and Cooley can't land the stickies onto Clefsas, and he actually has 100% Uber in the bank. Not bothered at all, didn't even need to use his Uber there. And they're in a perfect position. Chronos gets quite low there as they're trying to push this far right side. Cooley looking to do a big jump in here. Was face to face with Unlimited, but they both always take a pipe to the face. And finally goes down there to Catman as he tries to sticky launch away. But this is pretty solid from WASP at the moment. They're doing pretty well. They still have 100% Uber as Chronos is at 90% on his crits. Maybe they're going to try a different approach. Normally we see suicides on Badwater. Normally we see the Soldier, the Demo, players like that jumping in, trying to get a force, but the Bureau is deciding just to go for this crits play straight out of the gate, not holding back at all. So it's very interesting to see it. Wasp very come up here as the crits comes in, and Clefsas uses just as there's a crit sticky underneath his feet, puts a lot of the Uber onto Mr. Epic. He's trying to chase down some frags. Big jump in from Unlimited. This is very aggressive, and somehow he actually manages to escape. Great play there from the Wasp Demo Man, and they haven't lost a single play yet as Costo gets a backstab onto Bess, and that is sniper advantage for Fuzz as Sigafoo is back in the mumble. Are you back here, Sigafoo?
Just somehow, some way, I'm going to be back here to cast with you. Just getting back into the server, so it'll be about 60 more seconds, but glad to come back on such a great play.
It is absolutely intense right now as Unlimited gets a couple of pipes, great pipes into the face of Justice, and yeah, I mean, this is very interesting play out of the Bureau. They're just trying to use this crits to get something, and they do actually have 100%. Clefsas is only at 95, in comes the first crit, hits the sticky on the wall. Clefsas at 100% now, and still doesn't, he has got balls of steel, this man, as he doesn't use it, and great pipes from Unlimited takes down Chronos, and the Bureau have lost their medic now, so they have no heals. Clefsas at 100%. And what do you think about this, Sigafoo? I mean, are you a fan of crits on payload when you're pushing?
I generally am not. I don't think it tends to work out very well often, but, sometimes it can. But, I mean, when it doesn't work out, it really hinders your team. When it works out, it's great, it's fantastic, but it seems to be a gimmick play to me. And if it doesn't work out, you're just going to look incredibly bad.
Oh, look at the spy! Look at the spy! Oh, no, he gets Unlimited instead. Sorry to interrupt. Oh, the drop! The drop comes in. Cooley just does that suicide, lands a couple of stickies, and forces Clefsas to drop the Uber. And that was a huge couple of plays as Chronos has actually switched up, and in comes Popcorn! Big jump in from Popcorn, lands the 2 rockets. It wasn't a drop, Sigafoo, but a great reply there from Wasp to take down the medic once they just lost theirs.
Yeah, and good job by their team also pushing forward here, already taking up the cart. Down goes Catman, trying to get away. It's going to give a chance for them to reset up onto the second point, but a couple of medic trades back and forth, and it's going to give Clefsas a 30% advantage as he's going to come back alive, and they're going to try to defend this point, though 1PT is in position right now to try to make a play if he wants to.
Yeah, he's been cloaking quite deep behind, and he might get caught out here. Yeah, he gets spotted by D2Ed, so he's going to take him down. I'm not sure if Wasp are actually going to decide to defend this point. No, I mean, the Bureau have got so many players. Big backstab comes in, takes down Cooley, and Fuzz gets the better of Bess in the sniper battle this time around. And another snipe there takes down Lennox the Heavy, and that's something that the Bureau have to deal with as Fuzz is just reeling off these headshots. 1 of 4 kill streak now takes down Yahoo, and someone needs to take him down if they're going to try and push this car. This is really aggressive play on third. I really like that from Wasp, and they're deciding now just to back off. They have got this level 2 built by Anna in the window, and it'll be interesting to see how to hold this. I mean, this is where you get most of the time, isn't it, on this third point?
Yeah, and absolutely. And this is also any of our NA viewers. Actually, Unlimited goes down there from fall damage. Got popped up by some sticky stone Delman on the defense. That's going to be a big deal here. Is actually the Uber's going to get popped in. Anakula going to try to get forward here as the Pyro's going to do a good job of blasting them back. 1PT going to try to make a play, but he's actually not in position right now. Popcorp doing a good job of taking him down. That Uber push just had nothing behind it. I got the trade. Maybe they'll try to push forward after that.
I am just reconnecting to the server because my game has crashed, Sigafoo. So if you could continue your lovely casting, I'll be right back with you in a second.
Well, we'll see. We can see what we can do here on this offensive point, but that Uber trade that came off there was a little bit odd. Pushing in with the Uber charge only with your demo man, what are you ultimately going to expect to get with that? I mean, obviously they traded the Ubers between the two teams, but then they didn't have any follow-up push or anything like that. I mean, the soldier came in by himself a little bit later to make a play, but just a little bit of a suspect push here out of the Bureau, but we see what we can do. You know, we saw, as you said, initially a Crits Creek play on the first point. Now they're getting maybe a little bit too aggressive. But again, I wanted to say for the NA players out there, this is not the pro version of Badwater. We are still using the normal version, so here comes out the next Uber push. Are you back in here?
I am back, Sigafoo, just in time to see this Uber use a lot onto the Pyro, and Cooley gets a couple of pipes, takes down the Demo Unlimited, and has actually used his stickies. He's taken down Iron as well. The Uber comes out, but that sentry is going to go down, and it looks like even though the Uber is being used by WASP, they've only got a few players left alive now, and they've actually got no one to push the cart. So Catman has survived, took most of that Uber and has defended the cart. So we've got Matex just pushing this cart by himself now. And this is close. I mean, Fuzz takes him down, 7 kill streak now for him. And this will be really interesting. This is a key moment, I feel, if the Bureau can get the cap now. Zaffa's doing a great work just dodging those pipes and getting on that cart. It stops it right on the button. Mr. Epic walks in, lands a couple of meat shots, and Costa with the huge backstab takes down Chronos. And Yahoo's going to actually get the cap. Just walks straight up to the cart, and even though WASP have got their players there, it does mean the Bureau get that forward respawn, which is really, really good for them. It's going to allow them to put much more pressure, but they do lose Cooley and Lennox in quick succession. Fuzz is just on fire right now. Someone needs to stop him if the Bureau are going to get any sort of thing going in a 9 kill streak. That's an entire team's worth of players he's killed since he last died, Sigafoo, but 6 minutes and 18 isn't that bad of a time for third point, I feel, if the Bureau can do this pretty quickly.
It depends on, and that's the key point, is if they can do it quickly. If they have any bit of a slow push here, anything longer than I'd say about a minute, minute and a half, it's going to start getting to that 9-minute time, which for Badwater is not that good. Badwater, I don't know, it's about 7-8 minute time is roughly where you want, so we'll see what they can do here as they want to get onto the carpet. Unlimited do a good job of damage onto it as Cooley is actually, here comes the soldier, he's going to bomb him. Does anybody see him? The sentry gun does, and he's going to push him all the way back. Fuzz going on to a 10k right there as Cooley also jumping in. He's going to be able to keep himself alive, but doesn't really take anybody down with it. Costal did go down there. So just a spy going down, but Clefs is holding on to that 100% despite the bomb, and I'm enjoying these bombs coming out of the Bureau. They're not getting much this time, but they have been able to at least get some, a little bit few and far between as Cooley's just coming back up on the respawn.
I mean, yeah, I agree. These bombs have been pretty good from the Bureau, and obviously that one at the start there, which allowed them to capture the first point, Cooley dropping the medic. If you think if they'd only done that at the start instead of running the crits, this could be a much faster time. It took them 3.5 minutes to capture that first point, which is really, really long. But instead they decided to go for that crits. We do have equal Ubers at the moment. The Bureau need to do something as 1PT gets the spy kill using that Enforcer. 20-second respawn for Costil. That's not going to make too much of a difference as they started to push through tires here, and Justice going down to the pipes of Unlimited, but they do have this high ground. Look, Lennox is, oh no, the pipes come in from Unlimited. That is a drop from Chronos just to the free pipes there, Sigafoo, being spammed over there by Unlimited as Matex just jumps in trying to get something, trying to get a force, and finally a force does come in. A combination of him and Yahoo managed to get Clefstas to use it, but Chronos has just respawned. He doesn't have anyone to heal just yet, so it's going to be equal Ubers, Sigafoo, and that was an interesting turn of events right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good job by the Bureau. Actually, here comes Popcorn. He's going to go all the way in onto the medic. Chronos going down incredibly low right there, but able to keep himself alive, getting connected back up with this combo. But yeah, I mean, that's what I like, is when your medic goes down, there's no reason for you not to just push forward, trying to make a play, and that's exactly what they did. They got the force out of Clefsis, though Chronos goes down again from a backstab. Cost going huge today, and 60% advantage goes back in the favor of the defending team here, and that is WASP, and they're looking poised to put up quite a good time on the clock right now. So the Soldier Justice is going to try to bomb in here. It looks like we had a pause, but it looks like it's come back up. Clefsis, is this a pause for you as well?
It's stopping for me, and I don't have that kind of disconnect sign, so I'm assuming it's a pause. I'm hoping it's a pause. Kind of Justice kind of lingered in midair there, didn't he? But he did actually land one rocket. Clefsus is down to 75 HP. But Dito did get a decent reflect. So, I mean, as long as Justice dies pretty quickly, I mean, if he lands a direct rocket onto Clefstas, he's in trouble. But I would think that he's going to die. Catman is looking back, and Dito Ed is kind of looking in the sky. So, pretty sure he's going to die here. But, I mean, as a medic, there's nothing more satisfying than hearing, the enemy medic has died when you're defending, because that means Clefstas can just build his Uber and he's now going to have 100% in the bank, and he's going to know that there's going to be some suicides coming in, and it allows your team to calm down and just kind of focus themselves and get themselves into positions, which you can see, WASP here are a really, really good position at the moment. They've got their players up, they've got players in the right places, and this could be a pretty decent time for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're doing a great job, and that's what you want to do on the defending the card, is you want to try to take as much forward ground as you can to make it so that the enemy team has to work to get forward ground off of you. And one of the things I saw was actually going really well was actually the Soldier Pop Corp. He's been playing a lot in that map room, using that black box, but kind of shutting that down. And I think that's one of the things that, in Mr. Epic playing over in tires, everybody has a role that they're currently holding on to, and they're doing a good job of defending it. They're making it so that, you can't get into anywhere easily. Because if you, for instance, are holding this far forward, and then the enemy team comes through the map room directly behind you, and nobody's calls it out because nobody's watching it, well, that's going to spell disaster, because you're going to get cut off from being able to back up or go anywhere. And so that's one thing I'm seeing out of WASP right now, is they're doing a really good job of spreading out the team, keeping the roles, and making sure they're having good comps. Because even like the pipes that came out of Unlimited, he was able just to spam blindly to where he thought the combo was, and ended up getting a medic pick out of it. And that kind of comes down ultimately to just good comms, good rolls, and all of that different stuff. And WASP is doing a great job on this final point right now.
Absolutely, and I think a lot has to be put to Clefsas as well, because he's been staying alive. Fair enough, he dropped on the first point, but that was after 2 or 3 successive crits onto him, and he didn't pop unless he had to. A lot of medics will hear the fact that the enemy team is crits, and then they'll pop instinctively. I don't want to die, I don't want my team to die. But it's been really good, and that has to be credit to him and to his team for the good comms. Okay, they've crits, but you're not in danger. You don't need to pop. And the fact that they've had that Uber up has just put more pressure on the Bureau. When the enemy team, when the defending team has an Uber, you have to feel like you need to do something. You're expecting your spy or a sniper to get a pick, or your soldier or your demo to get a suicide and get something done. So, I mean, they did take the first 2 points, and the second point came, straight after the first point. Genuinely, we see that on this map. Like you said, on the pro version, there's some differences. I'm not sure if people actually prefer to hold roof on the pro version. I'm not sure.
Hold
tell me more about it.
Roof as in, I'm not sure I've heard that call before.
On second.
Oh, on second, yeah. It's become a little bit more common as a limited. Actually, it's taken out there, overextending a little bit by the sniper sight line there, and Popcorn's going to go back into that map room, but no demo man on this defense. 10-second respawn, and Cooley's going to try to punch that. He's going to peek around this corner.
Yeah, we see Catman trying to get aggressive there just to stop people walking in for free. But Cooley is actually in on the cut, reflecting the stickies is Detoed, trying to push people back, and Cooley's actually really, really weak. Has to back right around the corner. Yahoo just WM1s around the corner to see what's going on. Gets taken down by the sentry, but this is looking pretty good for the Bureau at the moment, as it does look like we have another pause. So obviously there's some issues going on with the server, with the players, I'm not sure, but the Bureau here, you can see that their entire team is in the choke. They've got their sniper, their medic, demo, NG, heavy, scout, just kind of waiting there to push in. And it's dangerous. I mean, Clefsas has 100%, and Chronos is only at 80, so if they decide to push with Unlimited and Dito, then they could take down the medic.
Well, the thing, too, here is that ultimately this entire push that's coming out, and this is a dry push, this is not coming off of an Uber or anything like that, came from Unlimited dying. Unlimited peeking that corner, maybe overextending a little bit away from his team, walked into that sniper silent, got headshot, and then boom, right there, the Bureau start pushing forward. They start taking ground for free because you have no demo man to kind of spam them out. I mean, Catman tried to hold his ground, but if he held it, he would have ultimately died because he would have overextended. His medic wouldn't have been able to keep him healed up. And I also like that Justice has pushed through the map room right now. Actually did a 1v1 against Popcorp, took him down. It's now he's able to rain down damage from a different angle. And I think the important thing for Bureau right now here is on this push is they make sure that they don't push everybody through the cart. They need to make sure that they maintain high ground. Justice doesn't need to come out of the window to do damage. It wouldn't have been a bad idea to send maybe Lennox over to the top spawn, something like that. I mean, if you have three different locations of where you're taking damage from, there's no way you're going to be able to maintain this final point. And it's looking pretty good for the Bureau right now for this final push, but we'll see if they'll actually be clinical in being able to finish this off.
Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with that. That happens on every single map, every single point. You want people to be looking at different areas. And at the moment, you've only got two different areas for people to shoot at. You've got Justice in the window here, He's at 125 health, so if he gets shot at a couple of times, he's going to be in trouble. But you've got the rest of the team all ploughing through the same area, and they can get spammed out quite easily here. And if Unlimited and Catman take an Uber in there, they can clean up. They can get a lot of kills before Chronos even gets his Uber. So this is pretty interesting. We got the Mr. Epic's actually right behind them. So there's a very weak mini sentry. He can probably take that away with just a cheeky meat shot. So if he comes in behind, he could actually cause some havoc as well if WASP do coordinate this well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Although there is rumours from our man John that there may be a server change at some point. So I'm not sure whether that's going to be before or after a push, or whether it happens now. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. But so far, I mean, which players are kind of standing out for you? In this first kind of round.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely Fuzz was standing out on the sniper side. I mean, he ended up having that crazy kill streak right there. Cooley actually had a great push in on that third point where he jumped behind the enemy lines. He got the engineer when nobody was looking. He popped him to well. I think he had even like a triple juggle with his pipes or something like that. I mean, he was just going absolutely insane, doing a good job. And when he's coordinating with his soldier for his bombs, they're both doing work. I think he actually might have been the one who actually got the drop on Clefsis on that first point. So, I mean, it's looking very good for both of them right now. I mean, kind of other standout players, I don't know if there's anybody who's really standing out huge for me right now. I mean, Unlimited and Catman are also doing a great job, but I mean, you kind of expect that out of the Prem players when they play the combo classes being healed up on defense. Like, you expect them to do great. But here comes the unpause. The Uber's going to come out onto Catman. Mr. Epic actually flanking, just as you said, takes down Linux, and Dito's going to push all the way through here as 100% back up onto Chronos right now, but they're pushed back pretty far. Do they want to push back right away? We'll find out here. As actually Catman goes down, the soldier comes from behind, gets a 3K right there, and here comes the Uber charge onto this final point.
Oh, that was really, really good play there by Justice. Absolutely crucial. Nobody got with him in that map room, and he came in from behind, gets the huge rockets to take down the medic and the heavy, and lots of kills coming in now from the rest of the row. They are going to push the car into the final cap. I can't see the time just yet as my HUD is currently bugged due to the pause, but I believe it's going to be 10 minutes or so. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me see if I can read that. I think it was 10:30 or 10:17 is the number I got.
10:17. Okay. It does look like we're going to be changing servers after this now, because of some issues. They can't extend the server. So I'm not sure what the issue is, why they can't extend, but it looks like that's what we're going to be doing. So 10:17, you say if WASP managed to push the cart faster than 10:17 on this new server that we're going to be moving to, then they are going to take the first round. I mean, I mean, you said 7-8 minutes is a decent time. 10:17.
Yeah.
Are you going to be happy with a push of that magnitude?
No, I mean, I'd be happy on the defensive side. On the offensive side, absolutely not. I mean, kind of coming back even to the kind of cheeky crits play that started out in that first point that just did not work at all. I mean, the first point is one of the least defendable points in this game. I mean, I'd say the second point is even harder to defend, but the first point, it's like basically you trade Ubers, you push, you take the point. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. And kind of coming out with the crits play, and then to have it just kind of fail so miserably that if they ultimately lose based on, a couple minutes, like, they probably can fault their crits play at the first point. Like, I don't want to be so critical of something like that, but I feel like, ultimately, like, I don't know, if you're going to make a gimmicky play, you got to make it work, and when it doesn't work like that, it's just kind of like, you got to kind of ask why. But I do enjoy players trying to push the meta, trying to do something differently, and, I have seen the crits play work, but it seems to be few and far between here, as looks like players are just kind of messing around, waiting for the next server to come up here. I know, sitting at 10-17 yourself, CeeJaey, is that something that you'd be comfortable with if you were on the offensive side? What would you be saying to the Bureau if you wanted to have them have a better time when we get started in the next round, when next time they start off on offense?
10-17, like, as an attacking team, my kind of rule of thumb is if you're going into double figures with the minutes, you're not going to be too happy about it. But generally, you just got to say, they need to refocus themselves. They lost their medic too many times in their pushes. It wasn't working. Chronos had that drop on pushing into last, and there was a couple of times where he got picked off as they were trying to do suicides or something. So, that's you need to keep your medic alive. Otherwise, any advantage you have is totally lost. The crits play, some teams like to use crits. We've seen it more and more over the past couple of seasons, I feel, as kind of demos tank all of these heals. And decide that they want to, try and just get the kills rather than focus the objective. So maybe just stick to their Uber and just stick to what they know, as the server has now finished. So I suppose we'll take a short break if John heads to a little break for us, and when we find this new server connect info, we can head over to there and continue the rest of the game. And welcome back to Blackout Gaming TV as we try to continue this interrupted game on PL Badwater between the Bureau and WASP. If you missed out on the action earlier, we saw the Bureau setting a time on attack of 10 minutes and 17 seconds before we had some server issues. We've switched to the server, and just to update you with what's been going on, Sigafoo, John and I have been waiting patiently for the game to go. Apparently WASP, wanted to continue and just, set their time, try to beat the time of 10:17 that was set for them by the Bureau, while the Bureau were trying to get admins involved and get the entire game restarted, which would obviously be to their benefit, as the time they set probably wasn't the best that they wanted, Sigafoo. But we are, I believe, getting underway with WASP just attacking and trying to beat this time of 10:17 following an admin's decision. So hopefully we can just see some more Highlander, right?
I would love to see some Highlander. I mean, I don't really understand what this entire discussion is about. I'm pretty disappointed in reading through the chat logs of the Bureau and kind of following this all along. I mean, I'm not involved with the EU community directly, so I feel like I'm a little bit of an objective viewer here, and to not want to restart the game after, to try to force a restart of an entire round after you played a round with no issues. You had to restart servers, but you set a time effectively, and then to try to say, oh, no, we need to restart the game because we restarted servers, honestly, I just think is not an honorable thing. I'm really disappointed in the Bureau really fighting so tooth and nail over that, and I'm so glad that we get to watch some more Highlander finally after all of this decision. And, good luck to both teams, but honestly, just a little bit disappointed in the Bureau and the way that they handled this situation.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing WASP in the blue now, trying to attack. And we'll see Bureau in the red, defending now. So we'll be seeing WASP trying to beat this time. It was 10:17, the time that was set. So we'll have to wait and see what can go on here. We'll have to have a little bit of a kind of a makeshift timer. We can keep an eye on the round timer at the top to see what's going on. But I mean, what's your predictions from this? Let's focusing on the Highlander now. We saw some crits play coming out of the Bureau and attack. Do you think WASP are in better shape to beat this time, or do you think Bureau can hold on?
Oh, I definitely think the WASP are in good shape right now. Obviously, they're frustrated. They're going to be playing with a little bit more intensity after what happened. Here comes Fuzz, and he's actually going to use the Girardi, but gets killed by Cooley with the sticky trap there. But here comes the jump in. Catman's going to come in as well as a soldier, but the medic is not going to go down there, actually able to keep alive, as it looks like they just kind of went for the sniper, but not able to get anything with this first suicide wave. But the cart's moving forward, and that's all that matters. For anybody new here or not familiar, we usually have a suicide wave in Highlander on the payload maps. And then, because you get respawn back up, teams are already ready, and the cart's been pushing this whole time, so we'll see what can happen. As another Delman sticky jumps in, does pop Chronos up a little bit, but not popping his Uber yet.
Yeah, he was hiding in that little that little bunker area by the first point during the first set of suicides. We've had a lot of people jumping in, and the cart has actually been pushed really, really far forward, but Chronos hasn't actually popped his Uber yet. He did a little surf from the stickies from Unlimited, and there was nothing there. So just Clefsas was there in the doorway, just maybe deciding, do I want to come out just yet? And maybe some more suicides coming in. Popcorp is actually running the dumpster device, the big old beggar's bazooka. Big jump in from him. Can he land on Chronos? Though he can't even land one rocket on him as he craters backwards, but the sentry has gone down to Catman. Catman is just sat on the cart. He's just pushing that cart forward. He is still alive. And that's really good play. He's actually pushed the cart all the way forward, and the Ubers actually come in now, and Ubers have been traded. Sentry goes down once again, but Yahoo is just going to air blast people away, but Fuzz gets the body shot onto Lennox, and it looks like the Bureau are going to be getting out of his Sigafoo and trying to defend a little bit further back.
And that actually is somewhat due to the cart's positioning, is because the cart came up from Catman, the engineer, and the scout. focusing the objective rather than focusing on the cliffside actually worked out in their favor. As here comes Popcorn. He's going to do a big bomb, and nobody saw him. Is he able to land? No, not able to get too much for it. Just taking down the sniper. Though this is a big sniper sightline, so being able to give your sniper that advantage might work out in the favor, as both mechs about even Uber. The second point incredibly aggressive, though Unlimited does go down to no Demo Man to push this corner, but that shouldn't stop them as they're still holding down the pedal, and here goes down the second point in the favor of WASP.
Yeah, I mean, WASP losing a few players there, but Catman was alive. He was just tanking all of the heals and dealing so much damage, took down that sentry, and he's getting the kills. He's the man of the moment, I feel, and Popcorp's bomb there, I mean, taking down the sniper is really big, and, Bess is back up now. He's actually watching for something, and a big reflect from Yahoo takes down Popcorp as he tries to do another jump. And look how far Unlimited is. They've used their Uber. They're actually in through tracks. They're just focusing this sentry. Sentry is surely going to go down here. Finally does to the pipes. And actually, the Wasp are winning this somehow. They've just pushed through, and Bureau have only got 5 players left alive. Catman, he's just sat on that cart. He's just gunning down anyone who gets close to him. 1PT is right behind. Can he get the backstab on the heavy? Yes, he can. Catman finally goes down, but that cart is tantalizingly close, Sigafoo, right on the third point. If you're the Bureau, do you decide to try to defend this? I mean, what's your plan?
You'd back up. This is not a point you want to waste your life on. You're not going to be able to defend this, and they lose a couple more players. Medic's actually a little bit alone, finally able to reconnect with the respawns there, but holding that aggressive ground, I mean, sure, you're going to gain a couple seconds, but the players you lose, they're going to be on long respawn waves, and 8 more seconds before they're alive on this last point to try to do anything, and you can just see the intensity being played right now out of the WASP on the offensive side on blue, and here comes a big bomb in from the Soldier. He's going to try to come down on Chronos, not able to land anything more than just a little bit of a rocket, but the cart's continuing moving forward in only 3 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock, and they're already trying to push onto this final point.
Yeah, they're actually all the way in through choke. Look at this cut. It's just rolling forward. Catman is on top while Unlimited is on the cut. The Uber comes in on Mr. Epic. He's going to land some meat shots and he's going to force that Uber, but 5 players left alive for the Bureau. They're going to have to use this Uber to keep alive. Unlimited does go down in that exchange, but look at D2L. He just comes in, sets everyone on fire. And look at Lennox and Chronos. They're so weak underneath this little platform area. Wasp have the ground control, but they need to dislodge the Bureau combo underneath that platform, otherwise it is not going to work for them in pushing that cart anymore. And Matix is actually on mini sentries now on defense, as it looks like we have yet another pause, Sigafoo, with the cart pretty close to last.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite close to last. I mean, this is exactly what you want to do. I mean, if they were just, I think, a little bit more patient in their final push there, I think they would have been able to push it all the way through. As they're currently working with, I mean, by the time they capture the third point, that'd give them 7 minutes to work with for pushing this final point, and they got it this far now. I mean, really the biggest thing is when it comes to pushing this, the point here is that their next push they need to just focus the objective and try to take ground slowly, unless they get a lot of frags quickly, which they kind of did this last time, but then they overextended a little bit. Everybody kind of wanted to make a play onto the combo, and it ended up going into the slaughter of the heavy revved up from feet away. So nice job there on the defensive side from the Bureau actually coming in. But it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do next, as Clefsis might have a little bit of an Uber advantage if they build it up here. But it's going to be interesting, too, because the engineer switched off to main sentries, rightfully so, because he was worried he wasn't going to get a gun back up. But the question is Maddox going to get a level 3 back up before the next push comes in?
Yeah, I've got information from John. He says that the person who dropped was actually Ina, the engineer for WASP. So hopefully he's just going to reconnect, get back into the game so we can get underway once again. So, I mean, for the 3 points it took that WASP have capped, the first 3 points, they did it in 3 minutes and 13 seconds, which gives them, that's some quick maths on the spot, so give you 7 minutes and 4 seconds to capture the last point, which is, it's a long time. It's a long time. That's plenty of time for them to get a decent number of pushes. At the
Absolutely.
end of the day, there's no pressure on them whatsoever. But something I regularly see on Payload, when I'm playing, when I'm casting, is if you get in that position where, the position that WASP are in now, we've got this amount of time, and you've got loads of time, you think, it's fine, we can screw up a couple of pushes. But once you've screwed up those couple of pushes, then the pressure is on as, the time ticks down. And then when there's only a few minutes left, that's when you get to the point of no return. You think, well, we can't mess up anymore, otherwise we end up giving the round. But we are actually unpaused now. We continue this. I'm just looking over at the spiral areas. Justice and Zaphis are trying to control this area over tires. As Zaphis gets the frag onto Mr. Epic. We do have TF2 on ice, but Costal there getting the backstab onto Best. That is a huge pick. I mean, no sniper to deal with. And Catman is in the map room. He's just trying to shoot down that sentry. It's a level 1 now as Matix has switched over to level 3s. And Chronos goes down! Big bomb from Popcorp. Here you got S-Morks in the chat as he does take down the medic Sigafoo, and that is advantage for WASP.
And the respawns are coming back up right now as Unlimited just comes back up. He's going to try to get to the front line. Clef's is sitting at 100% Fuzz sitting up in the window. It's as Justice bounces off the window trying to bomb into Catman, not able to land any damage as he also popped off his conch. So not going to have that here to defend this final point. And here comes the Uber charge. It should be popped in pretty shortly, and here it goes. Down onto D-Toad as well as the Dome Man going to be pushing into this final point. Actually, Chronos gets caught up and easily taken out. Their mini sentries up, going to get taken out as well. Lennox and the Dome Man are going to be hiding in the stairwell, but it's not going to do much to defend this point as long as they can be contested. D-Toad sitting right outside of that stair area, and he wants to push in. Maddox still got the sentry gun down as Unlimited over the top of the area trying to get this down. It's an extended fight going down, but the Pyro comes down, takes down the medic, and here we go. Somehow, some way, the Bureau defended that point.
They did. They kept players alive. I mean, Lennox did a good job in kind of staying alive in the spiral. And, yeah, Bureau, I mean, the cart has moved forward a little bit. You know, it's moved forward onto the low ground now, so people should be able to push the cart in, but somehow they haven't actually held onto that. And they are going to have, I believe, an Uber advantage as Chronos died much earlier on. Big jump in! Oh, huge stickies from Unlimited! Just rains them down and takes down Chronos yet again. And Yahoo goes down for good measure from the rockets of Popcorp. Lennox is so weak, he has to back off. And Cooley is still alive. He's the key player at the moment. He needs to stay alive to keep that spam up in the choke. And Wasp, though, can take their time, get that Uber charge, and have another crack at pushing this in, Uber versus non-Uber Sigafoo. And their suicides, the suicides coming out from Wasp are they're just really on point right now.
Yeah, they are amazing. They're doing exactly what you want to do with the suicide is, well, besides just being effective, they're getting so far up in the skybox that people just aren't seeing them come down. One PT is going to try to make a play onto the medic, but gets spotted out by Clefsis, or should see him. Somebody sees him. There you go. Catman's going to come in here and take him out. But yeah, I mean, just great bombs in, but they're getting so high up, and I think that's really working on the favor, as it looks like they want to push into this point again from the upper area.
Yeah, they actually have used the Uber. Unlimited gets launched back there by the sentry, but great coordination as the sap comes in. But Zaphis does take down Catman, but Wasp have just flooded this car. They have so much time, and they're just pushing it forward. Zaphis is the only one trying to block it, and he does actually manage to get some kills, and the kills just coming in, raining down there from the Bureau. 3 left alive. Clefsas does back out with his demo Unlimited, so that is a saving grace right now. But Chronos respawned. He's up to 25% on his Uber charge, and that means it's going to be equal Ubers, Sigafoo. So in the end, the cart's got a little bit further forward. We're just kind of nudging it ever closer, but Bureau staying alive as the backstab comes in. 1 PT with the double takes down Clefsas and Catman, and Unlimited goes down in all of the chaos as well. So Bureau a little bit more time to breathe and stay alive, as they have an Uber advantage, I think, for the first time in this round, Sigafoo.
And Costel's smartly so decloaking onto the cart. He's going to try to push it forward, or at least stop it from rolling backwards. And this cart is in prime position to be pushed during an Uber push. It just, all you need to do is send like 1-2 people onto the cart, have your Uber push away from that, or just kind of hold away, because you can't defend both the cart and also try to defend an Uber push at the same time. Maddox is going to get pushed away here from the sentry gun. He's actually way disconnected. Is he going to be able to teleport it out in time, or is it going to go down? Looks like it's finally going to go down. A little bit of a misplay there, but he does keep himself alive, which is important. It looks like Wasp wants to push onto this as Clefs is standing 95%. How are they going to push this? Looks like Unlimited is going to drop down onto the cart. D-Toad actually come down. This is a quick fix. This all things. Costel does go down. Engineer is going to try to come onto the cart as well as the spy. And here you go. The cart's ×3 onto the point. Chronos trying to do anything he can to keep it up as Justice coming in as well. But down goes the soldier. Down goes the scout. And look at how close it is. But they defend it once again, and they still have a chance in this game.
Yeah, and Chronos has actually switched off his quick fix. He's run back to spawn, and he's now running the crit streak. So maybe he's predicting Wasp to keep running that quick fix. It's a very strange play coming out of them. They are actually on the quick fix still. So if Chronos can get his crits before that, but big jump in from Unlimited. He just jumps onto the car, takes down Best the sniper, and it's kind of a little bit desperation plays. Popcorp jumps in now, and they're just jumping in on the car. They're just trying to get the frags using the heals from their quick fix. Mr. Epic is actually doing work as he takes down 2. Can he take down Justice? No, he can't. But 3 players left alive for Bureau. One of them is Cooley. He is on the car. Fuzz using the pan to take down Justice, and Clefsas is there. He's going to get on the cart. Can he get the cap? No, he can't. The level 2 is actually going to do the work, and Catman with that bread bite, can he push the cart in? Can he be the hero that Wasp need? No, he goes down to Zaphos. This is just chaos, Sigafoo, as Adios decides to come in now. He is on the engineer. It looks like he's replaced Aina, but this is absolutely manic. Someone needs to do something about that Sentry. They're just feeding Matek's kills right now as the time is ticking off, and Bureau are looking stronger and stronger with every passing second.
If you told me this was a Valve pub, I would not be able to tell the difference, as so many people are throwing their bodies in onto the cart here, as Unlimited coming in over the top, putting down so much damage onto the cart, and here comes Popcorn with a big bomb in. He takes down the Heavy, who's defending the cart. Now it's just Yahoo, who's going to be sitting onto the cart, but they lost so many players, they're not going to be able to push this. WASP, they just need to collect themselves and push together, but they keep pushing him one by one. Now Unlimited and Clefsis alone. Medic is going to be caught out here. Clefsis, so incredibly low, running through Lightbulb, but the Scout turns away! He didn't get the frag, he easily could have got him!
They've used the quick fix on the cart, and GGs are coming in the chat. It does look like that is it, Sigafoo. It does look like Bureau have held on. Obviously, we can't tell because of the in-game issues we've had with switching servers, but it does look like WASP have actually somehow not won that round, and it is the Bureau who hold on and have won at least 2 points out of this encounter already.
Absolutely insane defense coming out of the Bureau. They kind of did this, as I like to call it, the expanding, contracting theory of the universe, where every time that WASP pushed in, they were doing a great job of kind of kiting all of the players, all of the damage. It kind of spread out, and then as soon as the Uber was over, all of them came back in onto the cart, focusing damage together, and just great job out of the Bureau coming through there, stepping up to the plate after all of the chaos, wanting to restart the round, all of that different stuff. What they needed to do is just play better. They didn't need to restart the round, they just needed to play better, and that's exactly what the Bureau did, taking the first round 1-0.
Absolutely, and I don't think that's the result any of us saw coming after that time of 10 minutes and 17 being set at the start, so we'll be swapping around. I mean, I don't know what happened there. It looked like WASP had at least 2 or 3 chances where they should have just sealed that off. They were getting the med picks, they were getting key picks on the sniper, but in the end, it was just kind of the players, like you said, the Bureau players kited the Ubers in the correct places, pushed out at the right time, and just cleaned up the frags. And in the end, the quick fix coming out for those desperation plays. And I mean, that's a big couple of points for the Bureau. And I do think that means no matter what happens today, the Bureau will finish the day above WASP in the table. So that's, it's key points in the playoff race. So we'll see how that happens. I mean, if you're WASP right now, what are you saying to your team, Sigafoo? I mean, like, how do you get them to prep themselves up again for the next round on attack?
I think their aggression that they would do, and if I was in WASP, I would just be talking about that our aggression was perfect on the first 3 points, but on the final point, on the final pushes when it comes in Highlander, you just cannot be too aggressive. If you're too aggressive, you're going to expose yourself because respawns come in particular in Badwater, respawns come in on a high ground. So if you're down in the lower area, you're actually at a disadvantage to the respawns coming in now. If they come in lower, obviously you're going to have the advantage over those people, but it just seems like WASP, they just kept trying to take up too much ground too quickly, or just trying to put everybody in one area, and they ended up getting just cleaned up because of the players coming from respawns, coming from map room, and different stuff like that. If I was WASP, I'd be just saying, keep your offense 1 through 3, don't do anything differently. You did it perfectly. The aggression level was amazing. But when it comes to that final point, just slow it down a little bit. You guys don't need to extend so far. Take your time. Control the area, and we'll see if they're going to do just that as the timers are counting down, and we're getting started on the second round. The Bureau currently up 1-0. And I don't know, what would you be doing yourself if you're the Bureau, or if you're WASP? What would you be telling to... excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit there. What would you be telling to WASP yourself? What would you be telling them to try to do differently, to try to fix what they did wrong in that final push?
Well, I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to do a Russian accent, but I'd turn around and I'd say, lads, it's fine. We've got Lippy. We've got Lippy coming into the game, as Lippy has actually joined now as soldier. He is their main soldier. He is a very good soldier with Premiership 6v6 experience, the highest level in Europe. So he's a big player for them. He does a lot of damage, gets a lot of kills. So it's interesting to see him coming in now. I'm sure there was reasons why he was unavailable earlier on. So he's in on soldier. And that means Popcorp will be moving over to Engineer. So Popcorp is this kind of multi-classer player. He started off the season playing Engineer, moved over to Scout, which is his normal role, and obviously playing Soldier today. So Popcorp is more than adequate, more than adept, I should say, on playing Engineer. He knows what to do. And Lippy and Mr. Epic is a flank that is pretty strong. So I would say, like, let's start from here. Let's win the next 2 rounds. I'm sure we can do it, and we'll have to see how they do. They'll be setting a time, so we'll have to see how quickly they can do it and how much pressure they can put the Bureau under. As Chronos is actually hiding in this little bunker again, and Costal's actually had a look around, so he's probably told his team where they are. And as you can see, Unlimited is jumping in, but Lippy actually looked like he was trying to go towards that bunker, Sigafoo, but couldn't reach there in time using that Beggar's Bazooka. But Cooley, the demo man for the defense, has gone down.
Yeah, that sentry gun doing a good job of taking out the players. There's a medic. Chronos is going to be moving back up onto the cliffside as the Bureau currently on the defensive side. There's a card trying to be moved through, but Popcorn should be going down. Actually using the short circuit against this soldier. Doing a good job as D-Toad is also onto the card. Another bomb wave does come in. Not able to get too much with it as Catman also trying to do some decent damage. Here comes Lippy again. Gets easily cleaned up. And the first couple waves of suicides not doing too much for WASP, but that's exactly what happened in the first round as well.
Well, the big thing is that Matex, the engineer, has gone down. He went down to a headshot from Fuzz there, and Costal has taken down the teleporter. So that sentry is actually being wrangled now as Matex is just respawned, but he's going to have to walk as the teleporter is down. Costal there just looking at the respawns, letting his team know who is coming back up. But the sentry didn't go down there. That's a bit of a mistake as it was come in. They are exchanged. A lot of it going on to D-Toad, but he goes down to Lennox, and they are cleaning up the players here, Bureau. And big jump in from Unlimited, trying to rain down some stickies, takes down Cooley, and Matex goes down to a headshot once again. And it does look like the Bureau are trying to get back out. Second but burst stab comes in from Costal, takes down Chronos as he's trying to retreat. And the Bureau there from a very, very strong position have gone down, 3 players down, including their medic. He's got 5 seconds left in that respawn queue, and WASP are probably going to take these first 2 points.
I got to question that play out of the Bureau to back up out of that first point. I mean, they had both players live. You didn't have an uber disadvantage. I mean, you had high ground. You had a level 3 sentry gun up. I mean, maybe there was something I didn't see that they did, but I felt like they probably could have still held onto that cliffside. As they are starting to push onto the second point, WASP should take this down pretty easily. But yourself, CeeJaey, did you think that was a good backup out of the Bureau to play it so safe?
I don't know. I mean, when your medic's on the floor, you're always in a bad position because the players on top are going to be getting the focus and they're not getting the heals. I mean, if you want to stay in on the point, you need to have your medic holding on the top and giving those heals out. And Chronos just wasn't in that position. So I can understand why they backed out, but they needed to do it as a group rather than in the scattered fashion that they did. But 100% in the bank for Clefsas. They are already walking along the tracks. Uber comes out onto Unlimited, flashes in Mr. Epic as well, trying to get some damage, and Chronos is just going to take the brunt of this as the rest of his team just leave him to die. Mr. Epic is still there. Gets Girardi, managed to take down Justice as well. 1 PT does get some kills on the car. Takes down Fuzz and Catman, and a lot of players dying here. So the sentry, the medic have all gone down. Clefsas did go down in that exchange, but the car, I suppose, has just been trundling along Sigafoo. So, I don't know, that exchange pretty much 50-50 between the 2 teams.
Yeah, and the medics just come back up to the front line, but the big thing here is this the level 3 sentry gun did go down, and it's no longer in the windows, so that makes this point incredibly easier to push. Also, nobody's actually holding up in the upper area on this 3rd point, which is where you need to at least have one person, like your soldier, your heavy, somebody to be able to defend that, and currently WASP are not utilizing that to their advantage by putting someone up there themselves. As Linux down incredibly low, he's going to be able to get out with his life as a level 3 sentry gun back up, but it is around the corner, and this card is being pushed up pretty far as Fuzz gets the better of that sniper duel, and that's a pretty big deal coming down to this final point to have no sniper to defend this, and this should be pretty much a free push. Sentry gun does get zapped, going to go down, and there you go. WASP takes this point nice and cleanly. Yeah,
just 30 seconds slower than they did in the previous round, but remember that wasn't enough for them to get the win. But that's, I mean, it's really some really poor play coming out of the Bureau there. They're just baiting their players one at a time. I mean, Bez got baited, he was the only one peeking, he gets headshot, and then you got Cooley, he was the only one actually out in the open trying to do damage to the car. Everyone else was hiding around the corner. So if they'd maybe gone in as a group, it would have worked better, but the Uber comes down very, very early from WASP. Much better Uber coming in from the Bureau at the moment, as theirs is just about to fade, but Cooley does go down, he gets dropped in that Uber, didn't get a flash at all, and Costo is just cloaked on top. Look at D-Toad, he's in the spawn as well. Bez goes down to Mr. Epic. So there's a lot of kills coming in for the favour of WASP at the moment, but they're just very scattered. It doesn't look like they have a plan of what to do. Catman is trying to deal some damage from the railings, but decides to back off a little bit. But big reflect from D-Toad takes down Yahoo with the rocket, and Catman getting kills, and he's focusing the medic. Chronos is so weak. Catman gets a 3k there, And, oh, look at 1PT getting... No, Mr. Epic is more the wise to the spy. And Clefsas at 60%. He's about equal Ubers as Sigafoo, but Wasp looking extremely strong right now.
Yeah, and down goes the Sentry Gun. That was their saving grace, and it's not going to save them anymore as a cart is going to fall into the pit. The explosion happens, and 5 minutes and 3 seconds shows up on the clock. A fantastic time coming out of Wasp for the offensive side.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 3 seconds. I mean, that's what I expected to see from them in the first round after they pushed the first 3 points that quickly. But they seem much better coordinated there. I mean, there was moments where it was a bit sketchy towards the end there. You know, they had only a few players alive, but Clefsas very smartly backed off, reconnected with Catman, reconnected with the rest of his team. Mr. Epic, instead of, focusing the frags, just got on the cart, pushed the cart forward, and that was really well played by them. So they've come out in full force here. So, my question to you, Sigafoo, is: are you expecting to see the crits play coming out of the Bureau again? Do you think that's their kind of...
well, if someone's crazy enough to do it one time, I don't know, maybe they're crazy enough to do it again. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did the crits play just purely because they're like, okay, well, we need to make an amazing play to make up the time that we lost. But, I mean, we just saw that Uber Charge works just fine if you push cleanly, if you push aggressively. It looks like they're not going to be doing the crits play from what I can tell right now. They might switch it up at the last second, but it looks like we might see a more traditional push as the gates are about to open up here. But I don't know. I mean, the Wasps, had just a great job on that offensive side. And the Bureau, I don't know, I just maybe played too safe. I'm not really sure exactly what happened here. But the gates are down. We'll see what the Bureau wants to do for their initial suicide wave here. As Linux and Yahoo getting aggressive on the cliffside. Justice wants to go up, but he's down pretty low already.
Yeah, and he actually lands on the head of Costil. And somehow Costil gets away. No, he gets caught there, gets spy checked by Yahoo, and eventually does go down. But, I mean, there's one thing I have to say, as both spies actually die pretty much at the same time. Sorry, I'll come back to that thought in a minute. Big reflect onto Justice. He gets launched away, and Cooley also dies there without much reward. So, Clefsas once again holding onto that Uber without much trouble. What I was going to say was, when you set a fast time on the attack, sometimes it's easy to kind of get a little bit complacent and think, okay, we've won this round, it doesn't matter. But you still need to concentrate, as Chronos has come out already. He is on cliff. And with Costil down, they do not have that intel, but the Uber's used really, really early. And it's going to be down to about 60% by the time they get onto the cliff. Dito are just doing a great job just pushing people away. Lippy is there getting a flash of the Uber, getting some good damage as he takes down Lennox. Cooley also goes down. And all in all, a pretty bad Uber from the Bureau as Chronos is really, really weak here. Finally goes down to Unlimited. And the Wasp, they're just cleaning up. And Zaphus, I suppose, pushing the cart is their only positive coming out of that Sigafoo, but that was pretty well handled by the Russians.
Yeah, great job out of Wasp there, just kind of being able to defend that point. But the biggest thing that happened there is as soon as the Demo Man came around the corner on offense, he got way popped up in the air, wasn't able to put out any more damage. But Cooley's actually going to come underneath. Nobody spotted him yet. He gets a decent amount of damage onto Catman. Does a little bit more. The Sentry Gun is still alive, but here comes Lippy. He's going to try to return the favor as he's going to do a lot onto Cooley, but connected back up with this mech, going to keep him alive. But Lippy, I love the playstyle out of him right now. He's playing incredibly passively and annoying and takes down the heavy right there with the help of the Demo. And great job as they continue to defensive side, but Cooley's not going to stop. He wants to take down the gun, and he's going to do just that. If he gets one more, there it goes. No level 3. The Uber does get popped off, but I don't know if it's going to find anything. Chronos should be able to get out alive here if he plays it correctly.
Yeah, he's actually running the quick fix. Yeah, they forced the Uber there out of Wasp as they tried to catch out Chronos. Obviously, didn't realize he was running the quick fix, and he managed to survive all of the damage there as he might get caught out by Mr. Epic. Lazarusha finally gets the last shot onto the medic, and that is medic down for the Bureau as Clefsas manages to escape there. Gets a tasty sandwich from Catman, but 2 minutes and 28 seconds left to go for Bureau to roll this onto last. Otherwise, it is going to equalize the tie at 1-1. But great play there by Mr. Epic, and I don't know, I'm questioning the quick fix play, why it's still being used. I mean, I suppose you build quicker, but I've never really seen a team use it attacking Sigafoo.
I've seen a team use it. My team used it 1 year, and it was the worst payload pushing experience in my life. It is incredibly hard to use the quick fix. I hate the quick fix on offense. If if the Bureau can push with it, I will eat my hat, because it just seems like the worst idea in the world. As the Uber's going to get popped off here, not really sure what ultimately got Clefsis to use that Uber, but it's going to give the Quick Fix a chance to come in here as Justice is going to jump around the corner. Cooley getting really aggressive at Popcorn. He's going to grab his sentry gun, but he's able to keep alive. Clefsis dancing for his life, but does go down as well as Cooley's no Devilman on this offensive side. Lippy coming in here with the Black Box, trying to 1v1. Does it get the better of that advantage here? The cart is still pushing forward, but the Engineer goes down. Chronos is going to be able to get out alive. No, he gets caught out there. And there you go. Good defense coming out after that pop of the Uber, and the sentry gun does go down there. So that'll at least be some saving grace for this push, as the cart should get actually taken by Yahoo. Yeah, it will.
Yahoo's there, and he gets to reflect onto Lippy. So 1 minute and 10 seconds. This is entirely there's only 4 players left alive for WASP, and some of them are still in a 10-second respawn queue. So 30% in the bank for Chronos. He is running that Quick Fix still. Obviously a strat they must have been practicing. Clef's still on that Uber, and he's holding a little bit more passive in that spiral area. And the kill comes in onto Fuzz as Best gets the kill, but Clef's goes down to Justice. Bureau are just walking in here, and they're just focusing the cart, and there is nobody to spam them, to stop them. Lippy is in map room. He's trying to do the best he can to get the kills, but 3 players left alive now for the Bureau. Matix goes down. 1PT is still alive, and he's going to get gunned down by Catman, and that seemed to go one way and then the other way, like a pendulum. Looked like Chronos and his team were actually going to get the cap there. And then Wasp just, I suppose, collapsed on them. Nobody focused that map room, and Lippy came in to save the day. But with 10 seconds left to go, I think we can call that a round win for Wasp by now, surely.
Yeah, it was a big play there. Actually had a Dito, the Pyro, who came around from map room, flanked the enemy combo, took down the medic, as well I think a couple other players, and it also took the focus away from the front line. So you ultimately had to decide, do I want to kill players or do I want to try to keep my medic alive? And ultimately the Bureau walked away with neither. And the round does go down in the favor of WASP, but they can't be feeling pretty comfortable as they let the... I mean, that was incredibly... Bureau easily could have won that. Especially, again, I think that entire round comes down to that third point of Klessis popping his Uber on the third point for no seeming reason, at least from what I could see, which then allowed the Quick Fix 100% advantage to be used in their favor. And I think that ultimately let the roll come all the way through, and then some just individual plays stepping up, particularly from Yahoo, did a nice reflect to be able to take that cart. But impressive play out of the Bureau to at least step up to the plate. And, I mean, the Quick Fix was moderately viable, but I mean, I think any other one, I think an Uber charge also would have been done just the same job, but who can say as the Bureau down, lose that round 1-1 as we come into this overtime round.
Yeah, EU gimmicks, am I right? I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what it is. I mean, as a North American player, like, medics don't mess with Uber charges that much in North America. We are like, Uber charge works, like, why not use it? And EU's like, hey, let's rock, paper, scissors everything. It makes it more interesting, right? And I mean, obviously, we've had these discussions before about what is and isn't a good choice in that medic play, but maybe, you can present the other side to me. What do you think was the upside of switching to Quick Fix, and do you think it worked to the advantage of the Bureau on that final push there?
I mean, I've only ever used Quick Fix on attack in certain situations, and it's generally when you've killed the medic and you've died at the same time, but you want to get that kind of that early charge before them. So I can understand the reasoning, but that's only when I've been pushing last point. I mean, my team's done it before on Upward, where we've been pushing into last, and we've both gone down, both medics have gone down. So I'll respawn with Quick Fix, and I'll just go in. And the thing was, ever since the Tough Break update, where Quick Fix lost its ability to be able to capture things while you were Quick Fixed, or while you were charged, means it's a lot less viable. I mean, it was always a good idea to kind of pop a Quick Fix charge, still be able to push that car, and no one could air blast you. No one could, push you away or push you back using rockets or anything like that. So you were kind of an immovable object while charged on that car. You had to really have damage focused upon you. So I can understand it from that reason, but since it's lost that ability to cap, it's become a lot weaker in that sense. And it seemed to work out for them. They kind of used these Quick Fix charge, forced the Uber, then used the Quick Fix to come in, use the heals to get forward. But like you said, it was kind of WASP popping that Uber for no reason that led to them having that advantage in the first place. So I don't know. I still question its use.
And so here we come into the overtime round. It'll be interesting to see what we come out as both teams sitting at 1 point each, or I guess it'd be each team has 2 points now is what they'll be guaranteed, and this will be fighting for the final 2 points. If I have my ETF2L point structure correct?
You are totally correct, Sigafoo. We'll have a quick look at the logs. I see you've linked them to me. Thank you very much. Top frag of that game was actually Catman with a big 15 kills. Only 7 deaths, so he's got a nice meaty 2.9 KD there. And followed by Fuzz and D2Ed on 12 kills. Yahoo was top fragger for the Bureau with 10. But it's pretty equal across the board. It was a tight round in the end. I mean, we saw 5 minutes and thought that's going to be pretty easy round win for the WASP, but in the end it wasn't. But yeah, we will be seeing the teams fighting out, dueling for the final 2 points, as you correctly said, Sigafoo, and it is going to be WASP attacking first in the blue, Chronos and his team at the Bureau defending. And Chronos is actually running the Medigun now, so we will be seeing Medigun for the Bureau for the first time in a while, and then we'll see the swap around to try and beat that time. So can WASP come out with as fast a time as they did before?
We'll find out just as Fuzz gets taken out, so no sniper Girardi play, which is what they wanted to do. Great job here. As Delman actually is going to be jumping into the backside. Costal sitting back there. He's going to get backstab onto the Pyro. Medic now caught out by himself. Chronos alone. Nobody able to help. Gets the Force off. Great play there out of the Demo and the Spy to get the Force out of the Medic. Chronos incredibly low right now. Needs to be careful not to get just a body shot even would take him down. Level 3 is still alive, but this is going to prompt probably a backup out of the team, though Clefsis also did get forced as well.
Yeah, I mean, actually what happened was Clefsis just came straight out onto Cliff and they Ubered in while Chronos was further down, which is a really interesting play. I mean, the medic's not there. He can't Uber up on Cliff. If the attacking medic comes out straight away, then the defending team doesn't have Uber to try and deny it. So WASP here just going for a dry push, getting lots of damage down. Is it a dispenser that goes down in the end? But Fuzz losing out the sniper battle this time. Bez showing his sniper v sniper skills. But the Bureau are just so clustered up at the moment. They've got 90% Uber in the bank. Chronos taking a rocket to the face. Bez going down and a couple of kills coming down. Look how weak Matex is. He is down to 4 HP and the health pack has gone. There's nothing there. And Costal is desperately trying to get some damage onto that engineer, but he somehow stays alive. Oh, but the headshot comes in from Fuzz. Was that a drop? Was that
I
100%?
believe that was a drop. I heard the fizzle. Great play out of Fuzz there with the big headshot, and then also backing it up. Mr. Epic captured almost the entire cart during all of that going down. Bez, nobody sees him right now. No, he's going to be taken out there. Is he going to be? He wants the miracle play. Isn't able to get it. Oh, I wanted to see that headshot, but here we go. Clefsis sitting at 100%, no sniper to worry about, as they're going to roll onto his second point and probably just go all the way to third.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sniper to deal with. It looks like Bureau are trying to muster up some sort of defense on second, but they are getting spammed out here. Cooley is the only one peeking, doing any damage. Yahoo extremely weak, and the rest of the team just back out through that spawn door and leave Yahoo to die. So they are going to get this second point pretty much instantly, but there's going to be no Pyro Sigafoo. That is huge when defending this third point. Sure, they don't have Uber, but if you have a Pyro on defense, you can at least air blast stuff away. There is no actual sentry either. Next is just going to get melted away with all that damage. The Uber's going to come in, focusing that sentry. It does get pulled back by Matex. Cooley gets headshot there by Fuzz as he tries to retreat. Bez replies with a kill onto the other Demoman, Unlimited, but it does look like WASP have got control of this corner. They are going to get this third point, and I haven't seen a team that's been so consistent in pushing the first 3 points. But no, the Uber comes out. Sigafoo, they come out with the defensive Uber, trying to focus Catman, and Yahoo takes the entire Uber. Little flash there onto Zaphus, and somehow Bureau are actually defending this third point.
I don't know if they're going to be able to continue to defend as Unlimited actually going to try to push around to the corners. Cooley actually doing just the same. They're trying to defend out this card as D-Toad pushing onto the card. Pyro ultimately does go down. The Spy is going to be onto it as well, but here we go. As looks like Lippy's going to jump up into that top corner as the Bureau is trying to regain footing into this point, but I have to really disagree with the hold style out of the Bureau. I mean, why even hold? You lost your medic. Why even hold second point, back up to third, get a good setup on there, get your gun into the window, and they did the exact opposite of that. Is everybody's holding around this choke point. Both medics about to come up to 100%, but this is not looking good right now for the Bureau. If there's any decent push from this corner, because the level 3 Cinch Gun easily spam out, easily get this cart capture, Bureau has no chance of holding on to this point.
Yeah, Lippy is just doing a lot of work right now. He's controlling that upper area which is such a key area. You can see Justice and Zaphis are the only players there trying to defend it, and wow, Lippy serves a rocket, but the Uber exchange does come in, and once again Cooley is the one who gets dropped, as does Matex. There is no engineer. That sentry is just going to get destroyed with no engineer to repair it or wrangle it, and with no demo man to spam this corner, Wasp can probably walk in straight into last. Justice losing out the soldier battle to Lippy, and with only 5 players left alive, but one of them is Bez. He rings out a headshot onto Catman, but Wasp are getting really aggressive here. They just need to remember to focus that cart. Bez going down to a backstab from Costil, but they do have respawns now. Chronos is up. He's so weak though, has to go back into the respawn, and a big backstab. 1 PT takes down Clefsas. So this could be a shining light for the Bureau to hold onto this final point. 3 minutes and 51 is a very similar time that we saw in the previous 2 rounds coming out of Wasp. Like I said earlier on, they are very consistent with pushing these first 3 points in under 4 minutes. But it all comes down to this final point and whether they can actually push it now. And Chronos is running that medigun. He has 100% Uber charge in the area underneath the platform. And it's all about Clefsas catching up and what kind of picks they can get.
You know, see what they can do as Costal getting in position right now. As actually, here comes D-Toad as well as Catman onto the cart. D-Toad is going to get some damage onto Chronos, but not enough. Unlimited comes in as well. He's going to get in a little bit more and gets the force off, and that's exactly what they wanted out of this situation. And now it's going to give a big Uber advantage back to Clefsas. Cool, he's going to jump up, but not able to find anything here as Clefsas all the way back around the corner, about a 40% advantage, and that's going to be looking pretty good for Wasp to push in this final point, but they have not been very clinical when it comes to these final pushes, so we'll see if they can just do a little bit better as they come into this final point. And this is for overtime. This is for everything. They need to put a good time on the clock to put pressure on the Bureau's offense.
Absolutely. They're at 75%. They haven't been building too quickly, actually. It's only 25% behind the Bureau is. that was an awful sentence, but I'll continue anyway. Unlimited taking a lot of damage. He's got to watch out for that sticky trap on the railings, and it's just slowing them down. 100% now ready to drop down here. And Chronos is right underneath them. I'm not sure if he's aware. And lots of damage comes down onto him, but he managed to escape into the spiral. Yahoo just pushing people away. Sniper goes down. That sentry is just going to get focused. Chronos is at 90%. He doesn't have it yet. And Lennox is all on his own. If he goes down, then Chronos is not going to have anyone to heal. And Wasp just focused the cart during that distraction. And they set a time of 6 minutes and 5 seconds, which, I mean, it's faster than the other time we saw, but not as fast as their first time. So, I mean, if this was the second round, then maybe the Bureau would have won that second round, because they were close to a time of around 6 minutes, but I don't know, it's still a pretty decent time.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely Wasp's game to lose, as they're going to be setting up on the defensive side right now. 6 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock. I mean, I gotta say, it's like, you know, ultimately that final push is having your combo Cooley and your medic run up through the stairs to try to come and kind of come back around the other side. I mean, I think that's kind of like that exact play that didn't work out for them. I mean, it wasn't the wrong idea. They're just a little bit too slow on that. But I think that kind of sums up the Bureau's game today, which is just a little too cheeky. Like, just a little bit, like, too gimmicky. I think if they just played it a little bit more straightforward, and I think that's exactly what happened in that the round that they ultimately won, or at least the push that they almost won off of, you know, when they had the 5-minute push almost, is when they just pushed straight forward, they pushed aggressively. I mean, obviously the quick fix was a little bit sketchy, but they would have done just the same with the medigun here, as the time's ticking down. And I don't know, yourself, CeeJaey, do you think Bureau can beat this time of 6 minutes and 5 seconds to take the overtime round in their favor?
Sure. I mean, we didn't think they could in the previous round, and that was, you know, about, what, it was 5 minutes and 3 seconds. So if they can go close on that, then I'm sure they can go close on this. As you know, they've got a good start. Bez getting the sniper pick onto Fuzz straight out of the gate. So, you know, there's no sniper for the defense, and Chronos is running that normal medigun, so we'll see how it goes. But Cooley does get wrangled down there, but the force came out of Clefsas, maybe getting a little bit worried. They do fend off all the suicides. Only Mr. Epic, the casualty during that phase there, but no Uber now to defend. And this is going to be really important how Wasp decide to defend this. You know, they have an option. They can either get out and, you know, hopefully build an Uber before the Bureau push, or try to defend this, as they do come up on this right-hand side, and really early pop here, but Cooley does take down Fuzz. No sniper. And Unlimited goes down as well to Cooley. So the sentry's down. A lot of kills coming in for the Bureau. This is looking really good for them at the moment. Clefsas gets headshot, and Wasp are just falling apart here on this first point in under a minute. And wow, Catman trying to get a kill, but he can't. And that is practically a wipe, Sigafoo, as Mr. Epic was just respawning during that push. And I think this is going to be the first 2 points as the Bureau are already on second. Sticky Trap, and they're already pushing on to third. So Wasp have to be careful here. Look at Fuzz. He is so far forward, cannot get the kill. Bez manages to headshot him. I think it was a bit of overkill. But they are so far forward, they may have to give up this third point as well.
Yeah, they probably will, especially after sitting at a 60% disadvantage right there. I mean, that first point hold out of WASP, I mean, they decided to hold on to the cliff despite using Uber advantage. The Bureau, perfect push coming out of that valley side.
Chronos! Sorry, Chronos goes down there. Catman just holding that Tomislav from a distance, and it was Kostil who did most of the damage, but Catman is the one who gets credit for the kill for that kind of 5 HP damage that he did. And that means medic down for the Bureau, so a little bit of breathing space for WASP now, as they've got 80% on Clefsa. Sorry for interrupting, but that's just totally swung things in the favour of WASP now.
Yeah, that could exactly mean the win going in the favor of WASP. Is, you know, the push was going down so much in the favor of the Bureau that losing the medic in that situation, because if they had 100% Uber right now, I mean, just look at how this would have been. They've been able to push through, had a little bit, at least an exchange, and then push through consistently, only in level 2 sentry gun up in the window, and they would have been able to do a lot more, especially if they were able to focus the cart during that push. But I want to go back to what happened on that first point, as we are coming into our first pause here of this round. And what happened was the Uber got forced off on the Clefsus. They decided to hold onto the cliffside. Now, the problem is that if you hold onto the cliffside, you can be cut off. Because the only way to get out of the first point is to go through that far... you have to go through the corridor, basically, because this is the old version of the map. This is in the pro version, where you can go through the shuttered door. And what that ultimately did, the Bureau played it perfectly. They pushed up through Valley, cut off the exit point for the enemy team. They didn't have Uber to be able to escape or do anything. They got completely killed. Now, what I would have liked to see out of WASP, potentially, or what they could have done differently, is that they held passively, maybe on the cart path, right above, like, the garage or something like that. That would have gave them a very easy exit. So if they started losing too many numbers, they would have just been able to back out, as the unpause is coming up right here. And I think that first point could potentially be a defining point in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, people always talk about the first point, you don't need to hold it for that long, but if you try to hold it for longer and you do lose your players, it ends up being a cascade of rolling of the attacking team. And you saw the Bureau, they managed to push this cart all the way into this little area onto third, just from that first push. So you have to be careful of your aggression. Like you said, maybe a little bit of an earlier exit from Wasp may have saved their faces a bit, but they do have control of this third point now. They do have their Uber in the bank ready. Clefsa's holding on this area underneath the sentry is a bit of an interesting hold by default. I mean, some teams decide to do this. I suppose a little bit of a passive hold, but Lippy is the furthest one forward, just trying to deny any forward pressure as the Uber comes in so early, and Ditoed is just going to deny that Uber with the air blast, push them away. You just got to be careful about the repush now, as Zaphos throws a milk, trying to get some people down. And there is no repush. It's only Cooley, and he might get caught out by Kostil here. No, it's actually Matex who gets the kill onto Kostil, and it does look like Bureau are picking up some kills as they too take down Detoed and Unlimited, and Clefsus goes down to Bez. Big headshot, but Fuzz and Catman come in. Catman gets the kills onto the key players, and Popcork uses that Wrangler to take down Chronos, and it is actually pretty much a wipe, as the only survivor is 1 PT, and somehow WASP have defended that point. We saw the pause come in there. It was the Bureau who needed a pause for some reason. Looks like somebody disconnected, but they are rejoining soon. And wow, what the hell happened there, Sigafoo?
A great play out of Catman in particular, holding in that upper area, and this is a type of hold that I would love to see the Bureau do. They held passively around the corner in a choke area. Currently the heavy holding in the upper area. You have the level 3 sentry gun in the window, Unlimited underneath. I don't know if, as you said, it's a little bit of a different hold out of the combo, holding underneath, but Catman flanked from the upper area. Nobody was looking at him. Only Best saw him, wasn't able to land the headshot as he did just now. And Catman cleaned up with the help of Mr. Epic, and they're able to defend this point. 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the clock, and you have to imagine that the Bureau is currently feeling the pressure as they're going to be pushing in with a quick fix of all things. They're going to try to do the little cheeky play again, but will work out as they should be able to push in the point, but the quick fix does not defend against backsteps as Cooley does go down. Here comes Lippy. He's going to jump in over the top, trying to get some damage down onto Chronos, and here comes Detoed, getting a lot of damage himself. Chronos able to stay alive, but Mr. Epic, he's coming in to finish him off, and down he goes. Great job there on his defensive side, and still holding on to the 100% Uber.
Yeah, they have to be careful though. Clefsas is detached from his team here. Catman is doing his thing and just gunning anyone down, but he does get taken down by Lennox in the end, and Clefsas has to back off to last. and has to be very careful. There's nothing on third to defend at the moment. Bureau are there, and I'm questioning the quick fix play. Like you said, doesn't defend up against backstabs, and Costal went huge there, took down the heavy and the demo, and Lippy there just taking a huge rocket to the face, absolutely denied. And less than a minute to go with 100% in the bank. Clefsas has to use this Uber smartly. Wasp need to play this very smartly in order to defend this, as Bureau are still not out of this game. They could still take the deciding round and get the extra 2 points. As 1PT gets spotted there, the sentry will not go down. And this is so close. Big jump in from Justice does force the Uber from Clefsas, and he's going to be taken onto Unlimited. He's trying to get some damage, but look at where the Bureau are. They are so far back. They are running that quick fix. 25 seconds to go, Sigafoo. This could go either way, but the drop! Is it a drop? He used the quick fix, but he dies. Sticky trap from Unlimited. And Cooley goes down to the backstab. This is so close. 15 seconds left to go, Sigafoo. I have no idea where this is going to go, but Popcorp is still alive. He is wrangling that sentry. He is the one who needs to deny this. Mr. Epic comes in trying to clean up the car. Costal gets a double kill onto the heavy and the NG. And with 2 seconds left to go, Wasp have somehow defended that last point once again. Oh my word. Analyze for me, Sigafoo. Analyze for me.
Oh my gosh, absolutely great play there out of WASP stepping up to the plate, but exactly the reasons of what is weak against the quick fix. Well, the quick fix does not defend against spies, and the quick fix does not defend against multiple stickies underneath of your feet, and that's exactly what WASP did in the final 2 pushes out of the Bureau, trying to push onto his final point. Again, I mean, if they had Uber Charge, they would have had it up in time potentially, but they definitely would have had a little bit, I think, a better chance of pushing into this final point, and that's the problem, is that when you use quick fix and you keep it up and you keep it alive, I mean, it's really hard to be able to continue to push forward with it. And then also, when you're coming through these choke areas, everybody's doing so much damage. I mean, as you said, your medic went down, pushing through with an Uber charge, but it was quick fix, so not able to keep alive. And then ultimately, Costal stepping up to the plate, getting a couple backstabs when everybody's focusing forward. If there's any chance at all for the Bureau to push onto this final point, they definitely took that away there. But again, ultimately, these final couple pushes, was the quick fix the benefit or hindrance? It's kind of hard to say, but the Bureau did play a great game after all of the hullabaloo that kind of started off this game. And a great job by WASP taking it 2-1 in this overtime round, and they're going to be getting the 4 points today.
Absolutely, and that's it's not a 6-0 either way, so I suppose both teams are still going to be totally in the playoff race. I think this might leave, if my memory serves correctly, Bureau on 14 points and WASP on 13, so only 1 point difference between the two teams. They still have 2 games left to go each. They have, I believe, WASP have to play TC Ambition and Strong Opinions, while Bureau will play Strong Opinions, and then who else do they have to play? I can't actually remember.
Don't ask me, I'm not the player.
They've played Fair Enough, they've played Highlander, they've played Ambition, so they must have to play Failure? I believe Failure Esports, that sounds about right. So 2 more games, not easy games by any means for either team, but just taking a quick look at the logs, we have actually Bez there, the sniper for the Bureau, going huge, 17 kills. He actually did rock on the attack on that last round. He was getting some really, really key picks there. Unlimited for WASP is just behind him with 14 kills, and Justice, Costal, and Popcorp all getting 11 kills. I do have to give kudos to Costal there. On the first couple of rounds, he was giving really good intel to his team. He was, you could tell he was reconning for them. He was getting some picks on the flank in the correct positions. But that last round, 11 kills, they were very, very key kills. He was getting the right kills at the right times, and it was really, really impressive. So, maybe a spy that doesn't get much attention with, the likes of, the Toasts and the Villjacks and the Grenjabobs that play, at the top level. But Costal did really well today, and props to him. So, I mean, where do you think this game essentially was won and lost? I mean, was it just teamwork, or was it the gimmicks that kind of held back Bureau in the end?
I definitely think that there's a little bit of the gimmicks that held back Bureau, but I think one of the big things that ultimately, Hey, there we go. I got a couple of people in here. One of the big things I would say that definitely held up the Bureau from being able to win the game today is their third holds. They just were... I just don't have a lot of good things to say about them. They tended to be incredibly passive. The sentry gun rarely got up in the window. I think Maddox wanted to be next to ammo pack to build it up, maybe teleport it up. And then the holds, even in that final round there, where they lost their medic, tried to hold second, got killed there, and then had a horrible third hold as well. I mean, it just seemed like the Bureau always kind of had this passive hold on the third, and I don't know if they just had scrims where it was effective, but today it just absolutely was not. I'm just kind of surprised teams to do this. As a third point, I mean, CeeJaey, you can disagree with me, but I think this third point is like one of the most holdable points in the game, and there's kind of like a perfect strategy to it. There's like a very close to like very great strategies, and I felt like the Bureau just kind of did with like an okay one, kind of like the way you'd hold it in a pub or something. I was just a little bit disappointed in that, and I think if they changed that up, that would have gave them the extra seconds, the extra minute potentially to be able to push, to be able to get onto that final point, because they definitely were contenders today. But ultimately it comes down to the little things, and the Bureau just was not good enough on the little things, and WASP is going to take it away.
Absolutely. We do have the combined logs up on the stream now, and the top fragger in that game with 32 kills was the man that has joined us now, Catman. Congratulations, Catman, for winning. How comfortable was it in the end? I mean, were you worried after that first round, or were you always confident that you were going to win?
We knew that we were going to win, but things in the universe work another way, so I can't say really what happened. But there was a problem.
Okay, was there any kind of...
10 minutes, we got 10 minutes, but the pause was put in that 10 minutes. You know what that's mean?
I don't.
That's mean that we, on first round, can have more time to play. But that was already done, so it was mistake. They're like system mistake, like game mistake, so we lose first because of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, you guys were able to come back, into the second round. Looks like, we're also joined by Chronos here. Welcome out, man.
Hey.
So obviously, you guys were not able to win the round, and all you guys were able to take off the first round, lost the last two. Where do you guys think you guys went wrong when it came to the final two rounds that you weren't able to overcome, or at least your defense seemed a little bit shaky as you gave up a 5-minute time and then a 6-minute time?
Yeah, our defense was awful. We managed to take ground after that on our attacks, and we were playing into last both times and getting picks, but I don't know. We just weren't really controlling the spaces, and I kept saying to the team, we need to be thinking about our individual plays and where we should be, and people just started dying needlessly, and we were dribbling off each of the previous points, and I don't know, there's only a certain amount of things. Like, I'm so disappointed. We thought we would take 6 points today, and we played nowhere near as well today as we have done in scrims. So yeah, we're not happy. But I don't know, I feel like we underperformed completely. We only have ourselves to blame today. Credit to WASP, they played well. They took space that we gave them, and boy, did we give them a lot of space.
And just out of curiosity, in the first round of offense, did you guys run into any technical issues on your side, or was it just the server needed to... there was just an issue with the server that you guys needed to switch servers on?
Yeah, it was Deto's server. So we actually said before the start of the game, do you want to get a new server? Because obviously mainly our thoughts were like problems with DDoSes and that sort of thing. So we said, well, do you want to get a new server so we can all join it and just go offline? But they said no, don't want to get a new server. We were also thinking about the STV going to be really, really long now. But no, they said we'll carry on playing on this server, and then we start, and obviously just after the our first attack, then we're about to start defense, and it says servers going to finish in 10 minutes, and which is obviously going to be under the amount of time that if we're going to hold that we will need. And
right.
They also wanted to pause because their engineer timed out, so that's again digging into our time. So by the time they'd wanted to stop pausing, there was only 7 minutes left on the timer already, and so we say, well, you can't unpause now because that only gives you a chance to win. So then we got told 2 different things by 2 different admins on whether we should start again completely or start that just they attack. In the end, we just went with what WASP want, and they wanted just to attack again. So they attacked again, and we just waited until however long it was, and then they didn't beat our time, so we moved on to the second round.
And I mean, I kind of want to go back to that first round a little bit, though, is because to me, it would seem if you guys set a round, you guys didn't have any issues. Obviously, the server needed to switch over. It's pretty, easy. You guys were able to handle it just fine, being able to reset the time. I mean, it kind of seems like you guys wanted to restart the round to gain an advantage because 10 minutes isn't a very good time to set on offense. I don't know. I mean, I just was kind of surprised by that fact when it was just like, okay, we're on a new server. Let's start over again. I mean, what's your kind of reasoning of why you believe that you should be able to restart the round in that way when you already whenever you ever set a time? Yeah.
Obviously, this is a really unusual circumstance. Like, it's not often you join a server and then it expires, like, not long into your official. So we asked an admin, what do you do under this situation? And Bloodis said basically it's completely up to the attackers. Whoever attacked first in the first round, they can choose whether or not to restart completely or just go again and just do the attack, or WASP attack. So we decided because we'd set 10 minutes is obviously, as you said, not a good time, and because we were told it was our decision what to do, we thought, well, okay, we'll start again then. Simple
I
as
want
really.
to mention that Bloodis is not good admin.
Bloodis was the only admin that responded to me. Well, Stinson did, but Stinson's on our team and he can't make decisions like that. So I messaged Steve, who was in Six's game, so he said, not now, go on the IRC. Bloodis said that. So I then went offline again, but then WASP argued, so we said, whatever, we can't be bothered to argue, let's just do what you guys want then. And yeah, we went with it.
And so we can kind of move on from here. CeeJaey, do you have any questions about the match that happened after that?
No, I mean, I've got no questions about that match. I mean, we could look forward, I suppose. If we come to Catman, I think your next game is against TC Ambition. I mean, today, both of you teams were pretty close to, you're on the cusp of going for the playoffs. Catman, how confident are you that your team's going to get to playoffs?
We're gonna take from your team 3 points and we're easy in playoffs.
Okay. Calling the shots ahead of time.
All right, yeah.
Short and simple.
Fired.
We're gonna take 3 points and we're gonna go from there. I mean, do it up. It's the Catman.
I look forward to week 7. I mean, same question to Chronos. Your next game is against us as well. So both teams have to play against us. I mean, I can't remember. I think it was who did I say earlier? Sigafoo. I can't remember.
Wait, which? I'm sorry. I'm lost
there's
right
2
now.
teams you have to play, and I can't remember the last one. I think it's
I don't
Failer.
Remember.
How confident are you guys?
We got Failer on last week. Well,
sure. Yeah. So how confident
right
are you?
Right now, we are 1 point ahead of WASP, and we are 1 point behind Premtech. So we look at the table, and WASP have got Ambition, so that's 6 points for them. I think Premtech have got Fair Enough, so we're hoping that Fair Enough are going to take that. Then Premtech have got Ambition in the final game, so probably again 6 points for Premtech. We've got Failure, so because their roster's just completely falling apart, it should be 6 points for us. So we're thinking, well, the games are coming down to whether or not WASP or us can take points off you guys, or if Premtech can take points off Fair Enough. And it's literally going to be down to that, really. Obviously, right now, if none of us 3 manage to take points off you guys or Fair Enough, then it's going to be Premtech, basically, to lose. So, yeah, they're in the best position now after we threw away today's game. And then we're in the second best position, and then WASP in the third best position, I guess.
Well, it'll be exciting to see what ultimately comes down from the season. Now, CeeJaey, I am out of questions. Any other comments you want to make before we go to shoutouts?
I am done. Just we'll go straight to shoutouts. I guess. Catman, do you have anyone you can shout out to?
Shout out to 1PT.
Like it. Short and sweet.
Chronos?
Shout outs to WASP for a really intense game. It's unfortunate with obviously all the server issues that you guys were having. Shout out to my team for playing well in scrims and sometimes during that game. Then shout out to Budget Toucans and Extreme Pirates.
Cool. Sigafoo, do you have anyone to shout out to?
Shout out to you two, John and CeeJaey, for coming out and hanging out with me. John, CeeJaey, it's good to cast you again. It's been a little while, so glad to finally get some time with you again. And then shout out major plug in to my stream. I'm about to stream, so I'm gonna shamelessly self plug myself. CeeJaey.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, Sigafoo. It's nice to cast with you again. It has indeed been a while. Hopefully we'll get some more in between my games during the season. And of course to John, once again putting on, with all the issues, still managing to sort out all the servers and stuff like that and get the stream going when we were live. Shout out to both the teams today. It has been a really intense game. Amidst all the pauses, there was some actual quality action. As always, shout out to my team, Strong Opinions. And also shout out to The Spire. Do check out thespire.tv. There's a lot of Highlander articles. I'm writing articles for Premiership, and there's also other people writing articles for the High Division of ETF2L, Highlander, and there's also Sixes articles, ESEA, all sorts going on there. So definitely check that out if you're interested in reading about some TF2 while you're away. But for now, this has been me, CeeJaey, with Sigafoo, joined by Catman, Chronos, and John with all the production. This was Bureau versus the WASP. WASP taking it 4-2. We'll see you on the next cast, which I believe is tomorrow. Premtech versus somebody is going to be happening. Between who? FE. So it's going to be Premtech versus Fair Enough, which is going to be a big game deciding for playoffs. As Chronos said, if Premtech can take points from Fair Enough, it's going to put them in a good position for the playoffs. So we'll see you again tomorrow at 21 CET, and thank you for watching.